So today I'm going to be reviewing the keyboard cover for the Tab S9 Plus, and I wanted to let you know how good it is and also let you know about some other alternative options out there for you if you don't like this keyboard cover or if you don't want to spend the money on it. So with all that being said, let's get right into the review and let's talk about the keyboard cover for the Tab S9 Plus. So a lot of you remember the keyboard cover from the Tab S7 Plus. And you might be wondering, by the way, does that keyboard cover work with this Tab S9 Plus? Technically it should work, by the way, but the back of this device has different sized cameras. The cameras look different. So the back part of the kickstand will not actually fit from those previous models. Now the keyboard technically might work on the bottom, but then you're gonna have to get a different back anyway, and you might as well upgrade to something like the keyboard cover from this year. But you might be wondering if it's worth upgrading to in the first place and how good it is. And I will say that it is a little bit better this year compared to that previous model. And for one, it's a little more rigid. So you're gonna notice this does come in two different parts. This is a detachable keyboard cover. If you don't want a detachable model, they do have the slim keyboard. Now technically I did review the slim keyboard for the Tab S9 and I really compared the keyboard covers there, but essentially the slim keyboard cover only gives you one viewing angle and you can't actually detach the tablet with this kickstand. Instead you just have one basic case that's all together. Now that does have some advantages for the slim keyboard, don't get me wrong. That does mean that the slim keyboard cover is a little bit sturdier on your lap because you don't have all these extra moving pieces with it. But in exchange for that, you actually have a lot of things that you don't get. You only get one viewing angle, which really stinks, and you don't get this kickstand that you could actually use on the tablet without the keyboard. And I think that's a really big deal. The slim keyboard cover also does not have a trackpad or a touchpad, so if you're someone who wants that, you're going to have to go with this book cover keyboard. And when you look at it, I do like how it's a little bit firmer than the keyboard cover from the Tab S7 Plus. I do think it's a little bit more rigid and it's going to be a little more durable because of that. It just feels a little more premium when you are actually flexing it around, because I know in the previous years it was just very loosey-goosey, and this is a little bit more rigid, which I like. And when you put the kickstand part on the back of the tablet, you'll see one other change. You'll see that this right here that covers your S Pen, it's actually a detachable piece. So if you actually don't want to cover up your S Pen, if you want it to be very easy to access, you can actually take this part out. And that is nice that it is something that's detachable. Other than that, you're going to notice when you actually attach the keyboard to it, you're going to see that there's no backlighting, so that's one negative thing. But keep in mind, you're saving like over $120 compared to the keyboard cover of the Tab S9 Ultra. I know that has backlighting, and that keyboard does feel a little bit more premium, but it's honestly not too much more premium than this. And this keyboard cover does still feel pretty nice. The trackpad is just fine. The touchpad works very well when I'm using it. And when I'm using the keys on the keyboard, the travel is good on the keys. It feels very similar, honestly, to the travel from the Tab S7 Plus keyboard. It's not too different there, but the keys feel a little bit nicer and there might be just a little more travel on the keys overall. And it just feels good. I'm really glad that the keyboard cover here is big enough, because if you look at the keyboard cover, for example, from the Tab S9, that keyboard cover is too crammed for me, and I can't get a lot of productive work done on it. But this, it doesn't feel like it's too small. It doesn't feel like they're compromising on anything. It actually feels large enough for me to get work done, and this can still technically work on your lap because it is a little bit larger. It's not great on your lap, again, because of the kickstand and because of the keyboard, it could wobble around a little bit, but it could do okay in a pinch if you did need to use it on your lap. So overall, I do really like this keyboard cover. Of course, if you do want to protect the sides of your device, this will not really protect the sides at all. So if you do drop your device on the side, you could technically damage your device. It is nice that, of course, it closes up. The keyboard does close up over your screen and magnetize here over it, so that if you do drop it, it is going to protect it from a fall there. I think it's going to be fairly good for most people, but some of you might want more protection, and some of you might not want to spend this type of money, over $200 on a book cover keyboard. I get it. I think it's worth it though for most people, and I do think this is a good keyboard cover. Of course, I wish there was a magnetic typing angle like the Surface Pro keyboards. Of course, I wish it was ever so slightly more premium. Like for 230 bucks, I would really like backlighting, and I would like them to make that premium. And I don't think they should lock it under a $350 paywall like they did for the Tab S9 Ultra. I think that is really, really silly, and I think they're just trying to compete with Apple, who also has a $350 keyboard, which, by the way, I don't like the Magic Keyboard because, again, there's no detachable element. So I like that this has that detachable element. I really love the kickstand. I think overall this feels a little more durable than previous years, and I do really like the travel on the keys. It's not perfect, but I think it's a good keyboard cover that is worth it for some people. But if you do want an alternative, I will say if you go on Amazon, if you do search for different keyboards for this, you're going to see a lot of cases that just come with a keyboard sort of attached to it, and I think those are really, really bad. I would not recommend those. The reason I wouldn't recommend them is just because they're just not that good. The keyboards are normally very, very poor in quality. They don't feel great. And sure, they're a lot cheaper, like 50 bucks for a case and a keyboard. But you have to remember, half of that cost is going to be for the case, and then you're looking at like a $25 keyboard. Like, it's just not going to be a good keyboard for that price. If you want a good alternative that's going to feel a little more premium, I would recommend doing something like buying a outdoor cover. The Samsung outdoor cover that they made, it actually does protect your device a little more, but it does come with a kickstand. And I reviewed that outdoor cover for the Tab S9. It is absolutely amazing. So I would definitely recommend getting the outdoor cover. So you could still get that kickstand. You could get all these different angles. And then you could just buy a really nice Bluetooth keyboard. Something like the MX Keys Mini. Even if you get that for 100 bucks and then you buy the outdoor cover for 60, you'll still save some money and you'll get a really nice premium experience typing. You'll get a keyboard that charges with USB-C, that has backlighting, and you'll get a nice kickstand that's actually a little more protective. So that is my go-to recommendation for someone who wants to save at least a little bit of money. And if you want to save even more, you could always get a cheaper keyboard, not get a $100 keyboard. Maybe you get something like the Logitech K380 for like 30 bucks or 40 bucks. I think that's a really good Bluetooth keyboard as well. It's not perfect. It still does charge with batteries, and you might have to change those out every 6 months, but that is a good alternative for you if you're looking for something. So I would recommend that personally over buying one of those other bundles on Amazon that comes with the keyboard, but it's really up to you. So yes, I would recommend this keyboard cover. I would recommend it to most people. It's got good travel, it's a good keyboard overall, and it is improved over the Tab S7 Plus. And if you're looking for alternatives, again, there are some alternatives out there like the outdoor cover and a good Bluetooth keyboard. So hopefully this video did help you out. I really hope you did like it. Please give me a like to this video. And one way to help me out, by the way, is to use those links in the description. That's a great way to support me and my channel. And you could give a sub to my channel as well if you would like that. And check out my channel because I have a lot of Galaxy Tab content out there. I do love Galaxy tablets, and I cover a lot of Android tablets out there on the market, even some budget ones if you're looking for tablets for your kids. So hopefully this review did help you. I really do hope you have a great week, and I do hope you enjoy yourself in this crazy, crazy world.